podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to create a high-quality website or blog. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, go to Squarespace.com and use offer code BOUTAndroid4.
Welcome to All About Android, episode 56. Recorded on Monday, April 16th, 2012. Your weekly source for all the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Eileen Rivera.
I am Jason Howell.
And I'm Ron Richards.
And this week, I'm in a box.
You are trapped in Vegas in a box.
It's okay.
Get me out. Get me out.
It's okay. The studio still exists. We actually have a guest for the first part of today, Nicole Lee.
Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
No stranger to the set.
No stranger to the set.
In fact, I think last week or a couple of weeks ago you were on, so it wasn't too long. But you're going to join us at least through kind of the hardware section.
Because I have some hands-ons.
Yeah.
She's got some cool stuff over here that I'm excited to hear about.
Okay.
Very interesting.
I'll be honest
stuff.
with you.
Hey, so besides all the hands-on stuff that Nicole is going to show us, we're going to talk about patents.
Exciting.
Totally exciting
So
patents.
exciting.
Patents and
In-app purchases and a whole lot more. So, let's dig in, right, guys?
Yeah. All right. So, you mentioned patents up at the very top. This is maybe a little bit, it's a little patenty. It's also more just kind of just intellectual property in general. But if you haven't heard, Oracle and Google go head-to-head starting today in a court case that has been years in the coming. The trial revolves around 3 phases. And I actually asked Matt McCarr to come on the show today. He couldn't make it, unfortunately, but he was kind enough to send us a good detailed kind of description of exactly what's going on here and some of his thoughts. So here are some takeaways. First of all, there's 3 phases to the trial. One is that claims that Google infringed Java-related copyrights, and this will probably begin tomorrow, he says. 2, that claims that Google infringed Java-related patents, which is what you teased at the top. And then 3, all remaining issues, and that includes things like monetary damages, that sort of stuff. Now, the patent part has little to go on. Many of the patents that were actually initially claimed by Oracle were dropped from the case at this point. So it only really leaves 2, and one of those expires very soon. And the other one has kind of minor implications to Android in general. But kind of the meat of this whole story is the copyright part, which deals extensively with Java APIs, and if that language is actually copyrightable. Now, Google argues that a programming language is not copyrightable. They say a given set of statements or instructions may be protected, but the protection does not extend to the method of operation or system, which is the programming language, by which they are understood by the computer. And Google says, therefore, that also applies to the patents, to the APIs. Those should also be applied here. They say, without the APIs, the Java programming language is deaf, dumb, and blind. So, of course, Google has integrated kind of these APIs that Oracle presented in Java into their code. Now, Oracle obviously claims the opposite. They say that Java is itself free to use, as it is, without a license, but the APIs within are not. So it's kind of a confusing line to draw in the sand to say that, well, Java is free to use, but this very essential piece of that code is not. I'll just continue talking because there's a few more things here.
Well, I think the ramifications of this are kind of huge, depending on how this comes out, because this is kind of the courts catching up to modern day computing, and if they're going to say that API, like if you're going to look at copyrights on APIs and programming languages, that's going to affect so many.
It's not just Google.
Yeah, not just Google. Yeah,
so
many Fortune
from Windows to iPhone. I mean, they're all they're all going to be affected.
I used to work for a Fortune 100 company, I think, back in the day, and they were using Java. Like so many corporate level people have adopted using Java because it is so enterprise friendly. And if those licenses aren't in place coming out of this, you could just see lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit.
Yeah, and actually along those lines, Dan Crow, he's the CTO of Songkick, used to work at Google, told the BBC, he said, if Oracle wins the case and APIs are held to be copyrightable or copyrighted, then in theory, virtually every application on Android, macOS, Windows, iPhone, any other platform has to be at least re-released under new licensing terms because it was a different scenario before based on how they wrote their licenses. So
this is a big deal, but luckily it'll probably take forever to get to a resolution.
Yeah, I know, right?
Not necessarily. Supposedly it's only going to be 8 weeks, right?
Wow.
Yeah, they're targeting a couple of months for this entire thing. Matt also did point out another interesting part of the case. He says, is the now famous Lindholm email to Andy Rubin. If nothing else, this is the type of thing you hate a jury to see if you're Google. You end up starting off on the wrong foot and have to figure out a way to explain it away without looking like you're afraid of it. And essentially, this is an email exchange between Lindholm and Rubin that more or less, it doesn't specifically say that, exactly Google knew exactly what they were doing, but it does kind of show that they understood the risks and that they should probably try to kind of work around using these APIs in their code. So to start off a case with that doesn't necessarily spell...
Also reminds that those emails and things you type are subpoenable.
By the way,
exactly.
Everything you write in email could end up in a case, just saying. So, so this has huge implications. I definitely want to thank Matt Vicari for sending in as much as he did. He did not have to do that. He was like, I've got a really busy day, but still he found time to write back a lot of thoughts and really appreciate it. We'll get him on the next time this story surfaces because, like you said, we got 8 weeks at least that this is going to kind of be in the news, so we'll be following it very closely.
It's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in terms of things we're keeping an eye on and kind of watches, we're keeping a watch on the Google Nexus tablet rumors. And recently, Google had their earnings call. And during that earnings call, Larry Page had some comments that might point towards the Google tablet being a reality. Larry Page said there's been a lot of success on some lower priced tablets that run Android. Maybe not the full Google version of Android, but we definitely have a belief that there's going to be a lot of success in the lower end of the market as well, with lower priced products that will be very significant. And it's definitely an area we think is important and are quite focused on. So if anybody was curious about whether the Google tablet will be a reality, this seems like it's on Larry Page's mind.
I'm very curious on what he means by maybe not the full Google version of Android.
He absolutely means the Kindle Fire. Right?
Absolutely, and the Nook.
And the Nook and things like that. So will the Nexus tab be something like...
Well, no, I think what he's saying with that is that, listen, we've seen success from these lower cost tablets that are running a hamstrung version of the full Android experience. So we think that lower price point will be great if we put the full Android experience on it. I think basically he's
successful
saying,
at that price point.
Yeah.
But by the way, none of those are running the full Android experience.
And imagine if we did that, what that would. Yeah,
the Galaxy Tab 2 that I think Eileen will be.
I was about to say, I've got the Galaxy Tab 2,
and that's around like $250.
It's $250. It's great, but it's TouchWiz ICS.
Yeah.
So it's a little not. It's not real to me.
It's not
the
great.
Real. It's zippy, and I'm kind of enjoying my experience. But man, wouldn't it be great if it was vanilla?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. Good point.
So, I mean, I tend to agree with Larry Page. I think there's a ton of opportunity around that lower price point. I think the Kindle Fire and the Nook has proven that. We've talked about that a lot. And if the Nexus tablet or whatever they call it does come out and it's $199 or lower, I think that's going to be a seismic shift in the tablets for Android. To
think about a Google-backed even if Nexus as a term doesn't survive to the tablet space, but a Google-backed official tablet coming in around $200, that's pretty much within that price, that magical price point that is very easy for people to impulse buy. And it's kind of like, why not have one?
It would also have to be a 7-inch or something like that, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but still that very, very marketable and very desirable by a lot of people. So I'd get one. I have a tablet that I love, and I'd probably still get one because it's so ridiculously inexpensive. As long as the quality is there.
That's the way to compete with Apple, right? I mean, that's the way to undercut. Is
different size,
it's size and also price point. Yeah. So they have to make it $250 or lower is my thought. Anyways.
Well, we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on it. I know it's a story I'm keeping a close watch on. So.
Yeah.
All right, well, moving on. We're not done yet with Google. Is Google planning to sell Motorola's handset business to Huawei? The Wall Street Journal reported on sources that claim Google is interested in offloading the Motorola hardware division to none other than Huawei. But DigiTimes reported on Taiwanese sources saying that a sale was unlikely. That's kind of where I'm leaning. Take a look at Google's ambitious Project Glass, and you'll see that Google has a vested interest in having hardware smarts on board for projects like these. Then again, Andy Rubin has made mention of building a firewall, quote-unquote firewall, between Motorola and the Android group. Look into your crystal ball. What do you think? I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they invested the time and the effort and the money to purchase. I just don't see that. Now they're going to sell? I don't quite know why.
I imagine they would hold on to the patents that they bought for Motorola,
well, absolutely,
and then just dump the hardware stuff. It's kind of similar to when IBM sold off Lenovo. It would be similar to that. I just think that the window between, I mean, has the deal even closed yet?
Yeah.
No.
Does Google even own?
No.
Yeah.
They don't even have Motorola yet.
They don't even own Motorola.
So I think it's a little preemptive to talk about dumping them.
Wouldn't that be interesting though if the deal closes and then like within a week,
boom,
you wake up to the your feed reader and you see that Google is thinking about doing that. It seems like they're moving. Their ambitions lie a little bit more in hardware these days than they ever did, and Motorola Mobility kind of seems to be the thing that they own that actually possibly enables that with a little bit of experience behind it. So it would be very, very unlikely, very strange for that to happen. But I don't rule it out for some reason.
I don't rule it out either.
Part of me kind of like, I could see them
Motorola, I mean, they have good hardware, but they don't really have the history of hardware as a Samsung or an HTC. They don't have the same caliber. I feel, or the same history.
I feel as if Motorola, at least in the phone, in the cell phone, smartphone area, has been. I mean, like I recommend that Razr Max to people all the time. It's a good phone. But Motorola's been around for decades. I mean, my dad's old company.
I'm just saying there's a reason why the official Google products have always been a Samsung and HTC.
Yeah.
Well, I like what Mint has to say in the chat room. Says, Moto is losing money, so why would Google keep it around? I don't know.
We'll see. Maybe they can do something.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to hardware.
I got a little invite today. I got a little invite to London.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, really?
Did you get the invite? I was about to ask you, Nicole.
Yeah, I got the invite.
A bunch of us were issued invites to London for a special Samsung event. And all signs are leading to the Samsung Galaxy S3. And there are rumors out there that are suggesting it's going to sport a 4.6 Super AMOLED Plus display. So when are we going? Should we book our tickets?
Yeah,
Nicole?
let's.
Well, I mean, it's far out enough that that's feasible, right? I mean, it's
May 3rd. It's not that far.
May 3rd. Jeez, that's like an invitation. That's like they know.
I know. Yeah, come on out to London. Bet you can't come.
We're telling you. We're telling you because we have to. We have no ambitions that you'll make it. But there you go.
I'm gonna RSVP anyways. I don't really care.
Totally, so but that ties in with the Olympics and all that sort of stuff.
It's apparently the official device of the 2012 Olympics or something.
That's what it's possibly going to be pegged as. The official device of the 2012 Olympics.
Well, this would make sense as I just got the Galaxy Nexus that they would roll out the Nexus S3 right after I got upgraded my phone.
Man, that's so how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. I can't win.
No, I think that's just the fact. You never win.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're in the smartphone,
when you're in the smartphone
particularly
game.
the Android game.
Yeah, exactly.
Your phone is awesome for about 4 months.
Yeah,
but it's
totally
overshadowed. But I think people are really excited for this. I mean, the S2 obviously, it goes without saying, was a huge success for Samsung. The S3 is very eagerly anticipated. I'm really looking forward to it. The teaser has the little blue paint splotch and the white one. There, rumors are saying a couple of colors, so you can probably assume there's probably going to be those colors.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I like the blue one.
White. Anyways, I wasn't going to upgrade, but now you're talking colors. Oh, man. I still love my S2. Also, in the Samsung world, Sprint is confirming that the Galaxy Nexus release date for them will be April 22nd for $200, and pre-orders are on now.
Wait, is that phone pure Google?
It's
I'm not quite sure.
Google.
It's pure Google trademark.
It's pure Google in bold.
Oh, it would it will also be an LTE phone running on Sprint's brand spanking new LTE network.
That's tempting. That's tempting. Listen, as a recent Galaxy Nexus convert, it's a nice phone. I'm addicted.
Yeah,
I love it.
You will also get the Google Wallet in there. And actually, they are offering, if you pick up the phone, a $50 credit in Google Wallet. You get 10 right off the top, and then an additional $40 comes in, I think, sometime within the next month or something like that. So you're getting $100 less. You're getting the phone for $100 less than you get it on Verizon for now. I'm sure they'll drop their price soon. And you get an extra $50 through Google Wallet. That's pretty nice. Yeah. Gotta say. Way to go.
Who loves those deals?
I know.
Tempting.
You love the deals.
Now let's just hope Google Wallet doesn't get compromised again.
I know, right? Well, I think that's a big selling point for Sprint, at least maybe not from the compromising standpoint, but for the fact that Sprint's actually allowing them to put Google Wallet on the phone.
Yeah, I think that's it says a lot. And like I said, I saw Google Wallet in the wild. I saw it get used, and it's I was jealous. It's like, that's really cool. So, but moving over to Toshiba, Toshiba unveiled some new tablets, including a 7.7-inch tablet, a 10.1, and a 13.3-inch tablets in the Excite line. And that 13-inch tablet is the largest screen tablet available yet. Now, you've seen these, right, Nicole?
Yeah. I had a little meeting with Toshiba a couple weeks ago, and they showed this off to me. I think the 13-inch is a little bit too big.
Is it too big because we haven't seen it before? Or, you know what I mean? So we're not used to it?
I would say that if it came with a stand, then I think that's fine. Just prop it up on your little table, watch a little video. I think it's fine. But to hold it around with you, I just think it's going to be like...
Well, because essentially just to give me context, like a MacBook Air... that's a 13-inch laptop. So a tablet basically the size of one of those.
But the thing is, it's not thin.
That was my next question. How thin and how light?
I mean, it's not super thick or anything, but it's a big tablet that you have to carry around with you. And
well, let's run through the specs here. So they're all going to be running Android 4.0. They're running Ice Cream Sandwich, which is good. And they're on Tegra 3 quad-core processors. Wi-Fi only, 1 gigabyte of RAM, a 5-megapixel rear camera, 2-megapixel front-facing camera. And so now here's where we get into the nitty-gritty. So the Excite 13 is 0.4 inches thick, and it's 2.2 pounds.
Jeez.
Right?
2.2 pounds.
Yeah,
I have to laugh at that.
Like, to me, I don't know.
That's pretty hefty.
This is the one with the antenna, though, right? Didn't we talk about a Toshiba tablet with the TV antenna?
This is where I let you all down a little bit, Peg, because the international version of the 13-inch the 13-inch tablet will have the TV tuner.
Right.
The US version will not have the TV tuner.
Not fair.
Because it's not compatible with the way our ATSC digital thing.
I thought people in the US just don't watch TV. So that's
maybe.
But Ron, our dreams are dashed.
I know.
Jeez,
I'm so depressed now.
Well, but wait, what you're saying is it still exists on planet Earth.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't work. This is what I've heard, is that they couldn't find a way to make it work with the US's ATSC TV tuner system.
Well, when I eventually move to France and live out the rest of my days, then I'll know that I'll be able to watch TV wherever I want.
The thing is, if it has a TV tuner in it, I can kind of sort of see it as a second TV in like a bedroom or whatever. Yeah. But if it doesn't have the TV, I'm like, I don't know why I want it.
So it's 2.2 pounds. It's got 1600 by 900 resolution, 13 hours of battery life. It's going to be $649.99 for the 32 gig model, and a 64 gig model will retail for $750, and it's going to launch on June 10th. The 10-inch Excite is a little thinner, 0.35 inches thick, 1.32 pounds. 1280 by 800, 10 hours of battery life, $449.99 for 16 gig, and it comes out May 6th, 3 days before my birthday, in case you're shopping. And
I knew that wrong.
And the 7-inch Excite, the Excite 7.7, will start at $499.99 and have 16 gig of storage, and it comes out June 10th as well. So if you're dying for one of these new Toshibas, the 10-inch is your first one that you can get, and they'll wait till June for the smaller and the bigger one.
I mean, I think the 7.7 is going to be... a good consumer size model. The price is a little much. I think $500 for 16 gigs. It's a little up there. From what I've heard, they're only releasing the Wi-Fi versions. They're not even like talking about carriers or 3G. That's not even on their radar. carrier partnerships.
I've never had a tablet with a carrier partnership, like a 3G tablet or anything like that, and I've always operated fine with Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I was just going to say I don't miss it, but it could be one of the. But I have reviewed a couple of tablets that have it, which I guess it's kind of nice.
Right.
But
it is nice when you go to the gym and you can launch Netflix and not have to worry about the connection.
But my gym has Wi-Fi. I mean, like, that's the thing.
Mine doesn't.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, and admittedly, I am spoiled because I can hotspot with my phone and make a Wi-Fi hotspot that way, and when I'm on the road, that's what I do.
Right.
But for my needs, airports, things like that, I don't know. So
I agree with you guys, but I do know a few people that have data on their tablets and they're not looking back. They always want it on. They don't want to have to depend on Wi-Fi or maybe they don't have a phone that has a hotspot.
You have to use your phone hotspot when you don't have to.
Right. Well, I think it's the kind of thing that the fact that I've never had one means that I don't feel like I need it, and then give me it, and then talk to me a month after using it, and then I'll probably be like, oh my God, I can't live without it. So
and then there's, it's an extra plan, right? Yeah. So suddenly your tablet isn't just another handy little device you have. It's another handy little device you have that you're also paying for a plan for.
And I would feel bad that I didn't use it as much if that was the case.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so.
Oh, I bet you use it, Ron.
I'm sure.
On the elliptical machine is what you...
Right. That's what I did with the Pantech Element. That's why I love that thing.
It's not like I haven't watched episodes of Voltron on my phone while driving back to San Francisco from here. So it's
interesting.
Watch is generous. Just say I listen.
You do the little glance. Oh, what's happening? That could cause an accident, dude.
I don't know. I get bored in the car.
On you.
I get bored.
That's just as bad as not wearing a helmet on a bicycle.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So.
Yeah. Good point.
I'm like a mom. You need a helmet. You shouldn't listen.
That's why I don't ride a bicycle.
Voltron. That's why he doesn't tell you about the Voltron on this road thing very often.
You added yourself.
I know, he slipped.
Yeah.
So another cool thing that actually, Nicole, you have with you is the Sony smartwatch launched. It delivers Android power to the wrist.
So, okay, I'm trying to...
This is, now, first glance, I think this is cool. Before the show, you were telling me I might be wrong, but...
Okay, so let's just start off with it's a smartwatch. So it comes with a little rubber band. The default is black, but I have the pink one. Yep. It's very nice and pretty. So the way this works is that it needs to pair with an Android 2.1 and up smartphone. So I have a little Sony smartphone here that they provided with me. I don't know if you can see it. So it's paired up. It's via Bluetooth 3.0, and this is kind of the downside. It cannot function without the phone paired to it.
So it's not an independent device. Interesting.
It needs to pair the phone. In fact, if let's say I was to unpair it, it won't even have the time on here.
Oh, so it just goes completely dumb?
It needs the time from the phone.
Wow. That's a serious downside to it.
It doesn't even work. It needs the phone. So the weather widgets on here, the call, it all needs the phone.
So really, the only antenna inside of it is Bluetooth, right?
Yes, but there's no Wi-Fi, there's no 3G.
Man,
now let's play devil's advocate, though. I'm rarely without my phone. Rarely without my phone.
That's true.
Okay. Fine.
So, I mean, like, in that case.
I understand. But okay, so let's say you do have a phone and you can keep it around. So it works best with the Xperia phones, the Sony phones, just because it has the LiveWire settings all set up already. You don't have to get... But if you have like a Nexus or whatever, you can still go to the Google Play Store and download the LiveWire application. But this, as you can see, it's like a 1.3-inch OLED display. And it has a couple of screens.
It's 128 by 128 resolution.
So it has widgets.
Crazy. That's just insane.
It has widgets right here. And he has these application screen. I can't really see it. It's tiny. I can't really show it on the screen.
There we go.
There we go. So yes, there's all these applications and widgets and stuff here. Again, these are apps not on the phone, on the watch. They're not on the watch. They're on the phone.
They're just from the phone to the watch.
That's interesting.
They're not loaded on the watch. They're on the phone.
So does the watch have any sort of storage on it whatsoever?
No.
Wait, so the apps aren't on the watch?
No.
That's weird.
Okay. They're on the phone. So I'm trying to explain this to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to understand it.
wrap my head around
this phone is losing. Or this watch is losing.
So basically, this watch is basically just an external display.
Yes.
Okay. I get it.
Which is, thing.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
It's a touchscreen, as you can see, so you can go up and down for the widgets, like the Twitter widgets, the music player. So if I press the music player,
Okay.
It plays on your phone.
it's on the phone. On the phone.
Oh,
Okay.
weird. Okay,
The sound is from the phone, not from the watch.
It's a Bluetooth remote.
From the phone.
It's a
Okay.
Bluetooth remote.
If
Yeah.
I get calls,
Yeah.
if I answer it here, I still have to answer it on the phone.
Oh, that's weird.
Because there's no microphone, there's no speaker. I mean,
You really don't like this.
I'm trying to explain to you why I don't like it. So
I don't like it either. I agree with you, Nicole. First of all, I don't even wear a watch anymore, so what's the point? I don't get it.
Your watch is your phone nowadays, you know?
there's a couple of functions that I do like. So just, be trying to be fair here. There's a find phone function. So let's say you lose your phone in your backseat of your car, or I don't know, whatever. You can press this. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Oh, here it is.
This is so weird.
Man.
Okay. Another function that kind of like is a web called V-Finder. It's a remote camera viewfinder. So let's
the weirdest
Here, you hold the phone.
What?
You hold
Dude,
the phone.
Sony, what is going on?
And you take
with
a picture,
them?
and I can
I know
totally
they
see
had
what you're doing
layoffs,
right
but
now.
Come on.
And I can take a picture
Wait, you're taking a picture with
That is really
my
weird.
watch.
you're taking a picture with your watch and
With
it's
the
going to
watch
end up on the phone.
instead of with the phone.
This is so weird.
Wait,
Okay.
so where's the?
That just makes using the camera harder.
I know, right?
Doesn't it?
Oh, that's so weird.
So like I can do this, I guess. I can do the whole self-portrait.
Oh, you could do the MySpace pose pretty nicely.
You can do the
there
MySpace
you go.
pose,
Yeah,
and you can use
all right,
this
there
as
you
the
go.
viewfinder. I guess
Okay.
you can do this whole action
Wow.
if you want.
Wow.
This is like just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Well, see,
you.
this is why I don't understand it. I guess like it doesn't exist without the phone. You can't use the weather widgets without the phone.
I was gonna say that maybe the camera viewfinder thing could work if you lose your phone and you want to see but you've got to be within Bluetooth range, so it doesn't even.
Yeah, not so much.
These are people obsessed with keeping the watch alive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The good side, it's pretty nice, and the design itself is pretty decent. And there's a little clip on the back. You can take it off the wristband. You can clip it onto your shirt or whatever.
Good for the gym.
For the gym, you can clip it.
But you can't listen to the
But you
music
can't
on
listen
there.
to music because there's no headphone jack.
Right.
It's all on the
you
phone.
can clip it, but you just better have your phone still in your pocket because otherwise
You created a drinking game, apparently. On the phone, quote unquote, on the phone.
Beef in the chat room says it's like a form searching for a function.
Yeah.
Which I
Right.
think is really
And
it's very
the thing-
good.
this
Yeah.
is the thing. This is $150.
Well, yeah. So I saw that, and I wish I would have remembered to charge this up. But this is the Wim One. Hey, what do you know? We have like the battle of the.
iPod Nano versus
So this
smartwatch.
So this is the Wim One.
That's the Wim
So
One.
the Wim One, and that's the $300 developer unit, right? And I saw the
iPod
Sony
Nano.
one for $150, and I was like, okay, wait a minute. They seem like they do very similar things. The Wim One can exist without the phone.
So the Wim is a unique.
The Wim has Wi-Fi. The Wim has, I believe, it has GPS.
Right.
It can do a lot of things apparently that the Sony one can't do because
it
it's.
needs the phone.
Is this color or is this?
Yeah, it's color. I forgot to charge it, so it's uncharged right now.
Good
So
job.
we can't power it on.
Anyway, as you can
My
see,
life is filled with
there are many
chargeable things
things
at the moment.
that not downside. On the back here is the charger. I don't know if you can see it on the back here. It's
On the downside, isn't you already given all that down?
more downsides. So it's a proprietary charger, right here on the back.
Oh,
You need this cable.
Oh.
Like you need this
So
cable.
when you lose that
Yeah,
cable,
you're
you're
gonna lose
SOL.
that
You lose
cable,
this cable, you
exactly.
can't charge it.
Wow, this is crazy.
So what you're saying is buy it,
Dear.
right? You're recommending people
this
to
is-
buy this, right?
If you want to lose money,
I mean, I don't know if it's really coming across in the video. I'm sitting next to her. She's angry.
She's so angry.
She's, like,
this is it.
fuming.
She's leaving the show.
Yeah,
after this.
she's storming off.
True.
She's gonna walk
Driving
off the
home
set.
upset.
I'm going to throw it in the water.
Is this worse than the Sony tablet PU? This is, right?
I don't know.
Well, it's certainly a trend. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is an interesting kind of trend in the Sony Android brand, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hard for me to
as you
say.
can tell, I don't like it much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So this is another time where Sony has taken a little bit of a risk with form factor and approach, and given very little credit for doing so because the product just didn't stand up on its own 2 feet.
Maybe if it was cheaper, then it's like, okay, it's cheap enough to be an accessory.
Yeah.
But it's $150.
$150, like,
I can't justify it.
I don't know if it's a risk. I think it's just dumb. I mean, the Tablet P, like you said with your review, was a risk, but this is, hello, loco times. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't get it.
Interesting.
It's wacky.
All right.
Well, thank you,
Nicole.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem.
I'm so tense now that you gave us that review. I'm really on edge.
So I think everyone has to know. I'm sure you're doing the review for this before you buy.
I think you already know the results.
Yes,
the
but
verdict.
I still want to watch because I think it'll be hilarious.
Man, the vitriol.
We should get you like turning green like the Hulk. It's on the phone.
Smash. When will that review be on the show?
This Friday.
This Friday.
Yes.
Awesome. twit.tv/BYB.
I feel like Nicole should visit all hardware manufacturers and put the fear of God in them before they do their designs. So they'll be like, wait, we don't want Nicole and TWiT to freak out over this. I think that's a good motivator. No, you're a force. I'm impressed.
I'm just saying it's common sense.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense.
One would think.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, Nicole.
Right.
Thanks.
Thanks,
And
Nicole.
you're on
Thank you
Twitter
for
at
having me.
Nicole.
See you Wednesday.
Always a pleasure.
Bye. It's beeping at me.
It's beeping. Where's my phone?
Bye.
It's mad at you.
So,
All right.
email?
So let's take an email real quick.
Let's
Go
take
for
an
it.
email. All right.
Let's take one.
This email comes from RJ, who says, if buying paid apps in order to support developers isn't reason enough to part with your money, perhaps extending the battery life of your devices. Research by Purdue University suggests that up to 75% of free apps' battery use is spent on advertisements and other hidden tasks, which is a fascinating number to look at, 75%.
They use the example of Angry Birds saying, among others, spends just a fifth of the power it uses on actually playing the game. Instead, nearly half the energy used by the app goes to checking things where you are using GPS, downloading adverts over 3G that are specific to your location.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, it almost becomes a currency of battery life, which I think people are going to realize. Why is my phone draining? Oh, it's because I'm running these apps. That one weather widget that you gave that I love and now I'm addicted to. Yeah. That's got an ad. How often is that polling that ad?
Well, yeah, and I think about the app that I reviewed last week, Plume, which I'm still using the free version of. But I use it all the time.
Yep.
And there's always an ad down at the bottom of the stream. Yep. I'm even more inclined, actually, now after reading this to plunk down the money. I was going to eventually, but I want to save my battery.
Yeah.
I'll take what I can get.
So very interesting.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump into apps.
We not get to...
What were you going to say, Eileen?
I didn't know if we were going to say thanks to our sponsor, Squarespace, or not, but I will just take your lead, Jason Howell.
Oh, yes. We have that coming. We have that coming in a little bit, Eileen.
She's excited to thank Squarespace.
I'm so excited about our sponsor. That's a tease.
That's a tease to our sponsor, Reed. They're going to be stoked. But in the meantime, why don't you tell us about in-app purchases on Amazon?
I will. I didn't even realize that this wasn't available because I have to admit, in-app purchases and purchasing on Amazon, I kind of just do all the free apps of the day. But apparently now Amazon has taken in-app purchases out of beta. And so that's for developers so they can cash in on the opportunity. It uses Amazon's one-click system, but Amazon isn't dictating that devs only use Amazon's in-app payment system. The Kindle Fire is the exception here. Devs are looking at a flat 70-30 split on in-app purchases, which is different than their share for paid apps, which is 80-20. If the devs set the price, it's 70-30. If Amazon sets the price, it's also important to note that research by Flurry has found that the majority of revenue for apps is generated by in-app purchases. So this is a good thing, right, for devs?
And 70-30 is pretty standard for when it comes to in-app purchases compared to other platforms and that sort of thing. So I think these are good steps in the right direction. So.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about this. I think it was last week when this was more in the rumory situation. And as usual, the very next day after our episode, it becomes confirmed.
Yep.
That's just how it goes when you do a show on Monday, I guess. But I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that they haven't had this up until now, just especially considering the amount of money that is generated through successful in-app kind of setups. You know, you think of apps like Draw Something, which I don't even think you can get on the Kindle Fire. I don't think it's in the Amazon App Store.
That's a good point. Yeah,
but I mean,
sideload that.
All you need is a successful game like that with some really enticing in-app opportunities. And I know a lot of people that have plunked down just a little bit of money to get some extra colors, and that adds up fast.
It rolls.
So. Cool on you.
So back over to the Google land. One of my favorite applications that I've been using the most on Google has been Google Play Music. And a lot of folks have wondered, whether Google Play Music will be around or if it's just an experiment or what's going to happen. But the fact that now Google has introduced Labs and Labs features to Google Play Music makes me think that Google Play Music might be sticking around if they got people at Google tinkering on little add-ons, which I love these Labs add-ons. So the first 3 that we get are desktop notifications. So by installing this, you can find out what's playing without having to switch back to your Google Music tab, which if you're using Google Music in the browser is great. Those desktop notifications are awesome. They've also rolled out HTML5 audio. So if you're anti-Flash or don't have Flash installed, or you're a big HTML5 supporter like I am, you can switch over to the HTML5 player. And finally, something I've been screaming about, you can replace these the thumbs up, thumbs down on your songs with a 5-star ratings system, which I think is much more.
A lot of
I had some problems with that when I was like, why would I just thumbs up or thumbs down? Like if I'm thumbs downing a song, I just don't want it.
Right.
So, yeah. But 3 stars versus 5 stars, I could see that. So it's really cool. So go to Google Play Music and you can flip over to the settings and you can find all these Labs things to install.
And that is in the browser. I'm realizing as we're kind of reading through this is a little bit less Android, more about the service. But if they're doing this in the desktop, it's not that far of a stretch to say that you could have 5-star ratings in your phone. That's what you would want.
Oh,
right?
Exactly. I would imagine. I would be curious to see how they would apply it to the app itself on the phone. Mm-hmm. But as a Google TV user, I use Google Play Music through the browser on my Google TV.
That's true.
But they also have the app, the Google TV app on there as well. So I'll be curious if they're going to roll that out to the various apps. So we'll keep an eye on that. But clearly they're working on the music platform, which is great to see.
Yeah.
Additionally, in the world of Google and apps, many of you who have sideloaded apps or purchased apps from third-party stores like GetJar or Amazon are probably aware of the bug in the Google Play Store for purchased apps. Basically, what would happen is if you bought an app at Amazon or another store, it'd be listed in the Google Play market on your phone as a purchased app. But if you tried to install it or reinstall it, it would break because you didn't buy it from Google Play. So finally, Google has fixed this. They sent out an email to users who've ran into this problem, thanking them for their patience, and then with some instructions on how you can rectify this on your phone. So you sideloaders out there, Google's listening to you, which is interesting because Google's acknowledging the sideloading and alternate application stores.
It was just a
frustrating,
a crummy thing to end up in when this happened to me. I can't remember what the app was, but it was something that I had on Amazon that I had purchased through there, and then I went into the market and at the time and I just wasn't even thinking about it. It said update it, so I did, and then it just
breaks,
trying to figure out exactly what I had just done. It was kind of annoying. So it's good that they paid attention to that detail. And then finally, Google Drive could be right around the corner. This seems to keep popping up.
It's exciting.
For a few years now, I feel like we've been hearing about the myth that is Google Drive, but possibly next week, launching for Mac, Windows, and of course Android and iOS with 5 gigs of free storage off the top, possibility to purchase more storage down the line. And meanwhile, on the other side, you have Dropbox doing everything they can to give out as many gigs as they can to loyal users, because this is potentially right around the corner to bite them in the butt. Yeah. So, but I don't know. 5 gigs at this point, I have my Dropbox up to a respectable number. It would be kind of hard for me to drop Dropbox. Well, my own thing with Dropbox has got such not a stranglehold, but just in terms of it's inserted into my workflow and with people that I work with, So not only would I need to migrate, but people I work with would need to migrate. Yeah. But that said, I'll take online storage where I can get it. I'm sure I can find a solution for 5 gig. Especially 5 gigs integrated into the entire Google world that we already live so much of our time in. So I'm sure that integration will make it very enticing.
Yep.
I think I have gigs on almost every service. So I've got 50 on Dropbox, and then I have, I think I have 50 on Box.net, and then I've got 20 on SugarSync.
Wow.
And I mean, I've just been able to, I don't know, for lack of a better word, level up and get all those. And then what do I?
50.
Are you a digital hoarder?
And that's the thing is, like, I haven't really done much with it. I am a digital hoarder on Dropbox. Things are all over the place. I need to organize that a little bit more. But I'm trying to figure out, I have all of these options. I feel like maybe I should stick music in one, and maybe I should stick docs in another, and maybe I should stick pictures in another, that kind of thing. But
I'm just loading.
I just have it, so I'm going to keep it.
I'm getting as much as I can and uploading raw photos. I just want to take up hard drive space all around. I just want a little bit of me everywhere. So. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what Google has in store with the Google Drive.
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a quick email, and then we will get to the exciting ad sponsor read that Eileen teased moments ago.
Cannot wait.
But before then, we're so overselling, possibly. Before then, Peter from LaGrangeville wrote in to say, I really like the show. Given you guys talked about a Twitter client on the arena on last show, I wanted to ask for recommendations on Twitter clients. I thought this was funny at first because I was like, well, my recommendation was the one that you're sending it about. It says, I use Twitter both on an Android phone, the Galaxy S2, and a tablet, the Galaxy Tab 10.1. Ideally, I would like a client that looks good on both the phone and tablet and keeps my spot on the timeline across these devices, so I can pick up from the same spot when I switch devices. Do you know of clients that do this? I initially read this and replied back, and I said, sorry, I haven't heard about that.
That's a fascinating bit of functionality because, like, one of the reasons I use TweetDeck on my desktop, and admittedly that's OS X, and I understand that, but I like the older version, the Air version, because I could just stop the timeline and it would queue up, and then I could see where I left off. And the new OS X app of TweetDeck, it just scrolls and you lose your spot.
Oh, okay.
And so I've kind of learned to live without it, but that keeping my spot on the timeline, that's a really killer functionality.
When you have multiple devices and you're checking Twitter on those devices, I could see how that would be very useful. So I initially wrote back to him and said, no, I haven't heard anything about that. If you find something, let us know. And literally the next day I checked our poll, and in one of the comments, somebody was like, I love Plume. It's Dave Loft left a comment saying, I love Plume. You have to check out this service called tweetmarker.net, which works with Plume on Android. It's the only Android app that it works with, but it does exactly this.
And this looks really cool.
So you don't have to sign up for this service. It's just part of Plume. So I went into Plume, and it was a function that I had overlooked when I reviewed it. And I enabled it on my phone and on my tablet. And sure enough, when I navigated to a certain part of my timeline on Plume on my phone and then closed out the app, moved over to my tablet, it pops me right there. So exactly so cool. The answer.
It also works with Tweetcaster, which is an Android app as well. Tweetcaster right there.
Oh, okay. So Tweetcaster as well.
So you've got some options on the Android platform. Yep. Yeah. So Plume both or Tweetcaster, both good apps. Yeah. Tweetcaster is a great app. Yeah. So. Interesting.
So you can check out more about TweetMarker at tweetmarker.net. But if what you're looking for is for your Android device, just pick up one of those Android apps, install both of them, or install them, the same one on both of your devices. I wonder if it would work between them.
That's what's interesting.
Why would you want to do that? I don't know. But.
Yeah, because if you've got a tablet and a phone and you stop looking at the timeline on one device and then you go to the other device and then you check there, it all depends on when it's going to sync with. I don't know how TweetMarker works, but I assume that it's syncing with their service and remembering your last.
Yeah, stop. It said something from what I read about backing out. So what I did on the phone is I went to it, I navigated to a certain part, and then I hit home. I mean, that's all I did was hit home. And then when I opened it up on my tablet, I actually saw it take me from the top down to where I.
So it must, when you leave the app, it's got to go and sync and say, this is the last thing I saw. And
because it's built into the app, exactly. They probably built in that functionality.
Yeah, I'm going to try it. This is pretty cool.
So that's tweetmarker.net. I love it when things work out like that. All right, the moment you've all been waiting for. This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to create a high-quality website or blog. I love you, Squarespace. Squarespace has an easy-to-use UI for creating and managing a website or blog. You can just do it really simply. They have all of these widgets that you can build. You could just basically, select them, fill out a few of the fields, customize it how you want, Twitter integration, into these widgets is really, it's dead simple. You just give it your account ID, tell it how many of your entries in the past you want it to pull up. Do you want it to show the handle, or do you want it to hide the handle? Do you want it to show the time? All that kind of stuff. That's just one example of kind of the social media integration. They're very tapped in to kind of the social media sphere on Squarespace. So they want, that basically allows you to build sites that can live and breathe without you really having to do a whole lot. I don't do a whole lot with my site. It's jasonhowell.net. I mean, I store stuff there, and there's information and everything, but there are widgets that basically bring in my latest updates about All About Android, about Tech News Today, and my general Twitter account. So it kind of manages itself. So you hit there at any given time, you're probably going to get something different. It's very cool like that. You can import your blog information. It's very easy to import as well as export. They don't trap down your data and not let you leave with it from all of the major players in the space: WordPress, Blogger, Movable Type, TypePad, all of those. Google Maps integration. They give you all sorts of like statistics tracking about the kind of the visitors to your site, so you can get some demographics around, if you really want to, bite down and kind of analyze who's coming to your site and when and what's the most popular content on the site. All that stuff is built into the service, and it has a cloud architecture that just gives you really nice speed and stability on the site.
It's great. I mean, my personal site is on it, and that's where I do a lot of my music posting. I post my monthly mixes, and I post video and stuff like that, and I can do a post like that and send a bunch of traffic to it when I tweet it out, and it always stays up, never goes down. I've never seen it go down.
No, I've never seen it go down either. Yeah. The only time anything happened for me was I let my URL expire. Thankfully, no one told me about it, but thankfully I happened to go to the site like the day that it happened, which doesn't always happen, I'll tell you, and I discovered it. But that had nothing to do with Squarespace. That was just me being dumb.
User error.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So you can check out Squarespace, and you can do it for free, actually. For a free trial, go to squarespace.com. Sign up for a free account. You can do it right away. No credit card needed. You just try it out, start building your website, and kind of get a sense of what the tools are like. If this is something that that you're really into using the built-in tools, or if you are really good at like CSS and code, you have the ability to work that in. You can kind of see how the flow works. And then if you decide to purchase it, use offer code AboutAndroid4, and you will get 10% off your first purchase on new accounts. So if your first purchase is an entire year, you're going to get 10% off the entire year. If it's for 3 months, you get 10% off that. It'll be less of a discount, but it's 10% off whatever your first purchase is on new accounts. That's squarespace.com. Use offer code AboutAndroid4, and you will get that. I highly suggest that you do. Okay? Are you listening to me?
Just make Jason happy.
Yeah, right? Come on.
Just use
Turn
Squarespace.
this frown upside down.
Come on. We're all pulling for Jason. Just make him happy, all right? Just use Squarespace.
Thank you, Squarespace, for your support. As always, we love you. All right, let's jump into the arena.
To enter, one lives. Android Arena.
Yeah.
You love that arena voice.
Whoa.
I do.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of, cheesy action films in the 80s.
Yeah.
For some reason, yes. The arena kind of reminds me of that.
Oh, yeah,
it's very
it's the
Thunderdome.
Yeah,
right?
Thunderdome. Yeah, two will enter. Well, three will enter, one will leave. Who's leaving from last week?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm happy you asked, Ron, because, it was a close race.
It was.
Say. And in the very, very last minutes, and I know this because I checked earlier, and Citus was ahead. In the very last minutes, Temple Run has 31% of the votes. Citus has 30%. It's a difference of 4 votes. Well,
wow.
4 to tie it, 5 to break it. Third place is Plume, my Twitter app, and fourth, rounding out to home, is At the Ballpark.
Yep.
And you're out.
Hey, I was talking to Nicole before. I was talking to Nicole before the show, and I was saying that At the Ballpark is U.S. centric, baseball fan centric, baseball fans who go to ball game centric. So it's a very niche kind of,
Absolutely.
But 55 votes, I think, is recognized as how cool that ordering food from your seat can be. So yeah.
I'm trying to look. Let's see what countries voted primarily for At the Ballpark. Well, the U.S. is all green, so. Apparently,
they love to run. The U.S. loves to run.
Yeah, or they love temples.
Yeah,
And Citus dominated Canada.
Wow.
Anyway, so Tech Ace in the chat room is saying that it's tied again between me and Eileen. Does that mean Ron is close behind? Because we've had a pretty close race all year.
I don't know about close behind. Maybe behind is more appropriate.
I thought you were kind of on a run there.
I was on a run early in the year, but I kind of took some hits. But I'm excited about this week. I'm going in a different direction. I'm going in a rare direction. Okay. Do you just want to dive right into that? Or?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So
let's do it.
Trying to mimic Eileen's success, I actually found a game that I've been playing a lot.
No way.
I know, shocking. So, and apparently I'm off by 2 polls, so I'm behind by 2.
Says Tech Ace. So
thank you, Tech Ace. Thank you.
Our show statistician. We really appreciate your help.
So I gotta say, I was just browsing in the Google Play market, and I was looking around. I wasn't even looking for an app for the Arena, but I kept on seeing this one icon and this one banner promo, and I was a little curious about it. I looked at it, and finally I ponied up the $2.99, and I downloaded Cannabalt HD. I don't know if you've heard of this yet, but that icon of the dude in the suit with the tie, with the skinny tie flowing in the wind, I was like, this is I have no idea what this game is at all, but I'm going to give it a shot. And similar to Temple Run, I'll give you credit in that. It's a running game. And apparently it was in terms of the history, it was developed in a short period of time on a Flash platform, and then it was ported to iPhone. Now it's been ported to Android. And so basically, and it's probably easier if we pull it up here. It's a grayscale game, and it's very kind of 8-bitty in terms of the graphics. And really, the premise is all you need to do is you're this dude, and you're running, and the idea is to get as far along the path as you can. And as you run, you can tap and you can control his jumps. And the idea is to clear each building. And as you run, and jump, you gain more and more momentum, and you go faster and faster. And I just died. And these little things fall from the sky to get in your way. You've got to break through other windows. And it can get really, really intense. But one of the reasons why I like it is that it's really quick. And so as you're playing, like I play this on the bus or on the Muni as I'm going from town to town, and it's a great little, I got a couple minutes, let me just do a run, let me see how far I can get. What I've learned is that there are these little boxes along the way, and I used to jump over them, and by jumping over them, that would increase my speed, but I realized that they're actually somewhat strategically placed, and they help to slow you down. And so I just died. Oh. So you can actually control your speed a little bit by running into the various obstacles to give you a little bit of control. And sometimes I'm like, I'm going to jump over every box and see how fast I can get. Sometimes I want to see how far I can get. And for a game that just seems so simple, it's actually a lot of fun. The soundtrack is really cool. There you go. It's kind of a little ambient kind of soundtrack. There's a bunch of different songs that you can play through.
This game, much like Temple Run, stresses me out.
It can be stressful, but it's actually a lot. I've had a ton of fun with it. I've been playing it nonstop for the past week or so. So, and I know it's not new, and I'm pretty sure this is, it's been out on other platforms, and I think it was part of the Humble Bundle. So people might be already familiar with it. But
yes, it was.
But yeah, no, I'm going really fast now, and it's getting really, and the distance gets further. Sometimes the buildings fall apart. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, this stresses me out.
There's one point where you need to jump through the window into another building, and it took me 3 days to figure out how to do that, and you have to get at the right angle.
Do you jump higher the longer you hold down?
Not necessarily.
It's just
I think you jump further, and I just died. Yeah, I just made 2,200 meters. So there you go.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Well, I looked at the high scores. My high score, I think, is 5,000 meters. I think the game's high scores are 200,000. There are people out there who are
really have devoted a lot of time.
They've committed to Cannabalt. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. And for $2.99 for $3, it has I've gotten my $3 worth out of it. So
awesome.
Yeah, I'm not a big gamer, but it's a lot of fun. So check out Cannabalt HD. It's compatible on both phones and tablets. Mm-hmm. And I've been playing on the tablet. It's a lot of fun as well. Check it out. So there you go.
You need at least one of these really easy to jump right into games on your phone for waiting rooms and buses and stuff.
Exactly. So
that's great.
So Cannabalt HD $2.99. Vote for me.
And there you go. All right. So mine, my app is Cloud Music Sniper. So I'll give you a little bit of background on this. Essentially what it is you may like Google Music. You may hate Google Music. But one thing's for sure, you probably have a lot of music stored on Google Music. And, you know, if you're not a fan of Google Music, the app itself, a lot of times you want to be able to use other apps instead. You'd love to use, you know, for instance, Winamp to be your music player, but all of your music is stored on Google Music servers. And Winamp, well, Google just hasn't allowed any other developers to tap into those servers. But what Google does allow you to do is move songs to offline. Right. And Google or Cloud Music Sniper actually allows you access. Here, I'll try and face this properly here. It gives you access to that Google Music cache for any songs that you've stored on your local device. Now, there are some music players that are starting to build this functionality into the players themselves, but they don't all do that. Winamp is actually one, absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and select tracks to snipe. It'll pull up a list of any songs that I have on offline. Essentially, these are songs that I've listened to that I've stored through Google Music, through the app. I guess it's Play Music.
Play Music.
I'm wrong there continually because I'm not sure I still like that name. But anyways, Beach Fossils. It's a great EP. Anyways, so these are stored in my Google Music app. But right now, the Google Music app is the only one that has access to this. So I'm going to go ahead and check that, select the checked item, then snipe the selected track. And it's going to do its processing. It's going to give me the artwork as well as the information. It pulls all of this. And essentially what it does is I've selected a folder on my phone for it to move a version of this. So it's actually copying this file from that temporary cache to a permanent spot on my device that I've chosen. So go ahead and go home, hop into Winamp, go into Artists, and you can see Beach Fossils. There we go. And actually, I had moved one song earlier today. But there it is. The song that I moved over actually could have been a different one. And maybe it is the Moments one. And if I click it, now I can use Winamp to play the song. It's a single-purpose app, obviously. But it's very handy. If you have a ton of your Google Music app or Google Music songs cached to your device, then the sniper is going to give you direct access to it and be able to select any of those. You can actually have it move everything that you have stored on your device and move it over. And it's just really handy. That will enable you to use whatever app you want to play your music instead of being tied to the
that's an interesting workaround. I mean, like it's a clever kind of way to leverage what is in it. Like you're not breaking anything.
No, and you're only accessing songs that Google actually allows you to, you know, if you go through their website, you can download your songs back to you. So it's not like you're doing anything that you're not intended to do. And Google also just isn't making it very difficult for you to do this with other apps right now. This is a way around
it. And they're not doing any sort of encryption or any sort of protection. You can only access these files with Google Play Music.
Right, or in their own format or something. It's just an MP3 that happens to be stored in a crazy directory on your phone that's really hard to find. This app is a way to get at those files. And like I said, there are some music apps. I know Power Amp actually has this built into the app, and that's great. That's awesome. This actually copies it to your directory, though, whereas Power Amp just kind of gives you access to it. So maybe you want to have a second copy of it and just store it on your device permanently. That way, the Google Play Music, man, that's so hard for me to say, won't eventually get rid of it, because I know if you don't, you know, there's only a temporary amount of space for that cache. So the app is called Cloud Music Sniper. It is $2.60 in the Google Play Store, but check it out. It comes in very handy if you like other music apps on your Android device. Cool. There you go. And it is Eileen's turn, and I have your app, so I'll go ahead and show it off.
All right. Mine's pretty simple, and I'd like to thank Nate for emailing me. He gave this suggestion, and I thought, I'll try it out. It turns out it's actually been pretty handy for me. I'm at, for those of you who don't know, I'm in Vegas for NAB. I'm only here for a few days, and so I loaded this app, and it's a widget. It's called Bling Board. I love the name, first of all. Bling Board Social Widget, and it's free. And essentially what it does, it's a handy widget on your phone that allows you to scroll over the first 20 missed calls or your call log, your text messages, your Gmail, Facebook, and Twitter. So I've actually used it pretty handily with text messages and Gmail and Twitter. And basically it just stores the last 20 messages on your phone, and you can just scroll left and right. You'll see you'll see arrows at the bottom of the widget going left and right for the last 20, and then you'll see it's very small on the bottom right-hand corner, like a 6 of 20, or 5 of 20, 7 of 20, whatever. And when you're done, you just hit the little broom at the bottom right-hand corner, and then you erase it, and then it goes back to looking like a nice little boxy, clock widget with date and time. And there's a little reload button up there, so if you're just really curious. I've actually been able to use this app, this widget, so I don't have to launch my text messages. I could just see, so-and-so replied or whatever. If you go into your text message and you just click on the message, then it'll give you the option. Do you want to go into whatever message client you have, the stock, or if you have something else? I have two, Go SMS and messaging. And then for email, if you want to respond, you can. If you just tap on that, it'll launch your email. But if you just want to browse, or if you just want to see sort of quick hits, it's kind of a little handy there. And I've been able to kind of keep up with things on the go, and not have to launch the app, which sometimes it takes a long time to load here and there. So I thought it was kind of a handy little widget there, and it looks pretty nice on your phone. So that is Bling Board Social Widget, and it's free. Thank you, Nate.
Very cool. That's a cool app.
I like that when you have deleted it, it goes to kind of that simple clock thing, because a lot of times on like my main home screen, I would love to see these updates kind of come into the top, but when there aren't any updates, it's kind of not functional. So that keeps it functional. So
cool. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Bling Board Social Widget. So to review, if you weren't keeping notes, which I doubt you were, we don't require it of you. Cannibalt HD, Cloud Music Sniper, and Bling Board Social Widget. How about you let us know what you think?
That's a nice mix there. You got a music app, you got a game, you got a social networking app, a widget app. That's pretty cool.
Covering the gamut, as they say.
Look at that Cannibal. It's a sexy app. That's a sexy game.
bit.ly/AAA56poll is the URL to go to if you want to vote. bit.ly/AAA56poll. And let us know what you think. What's your favorite app?
It looks like the early returns are Cannibalt HD running away with 7 votes, 58% of the votes.
People, our audience loves to run. They love
They
do
love the running. Of course
they're going to love Cannonball, so not surprised.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I think it's going to be Cannonball Bling Board kind of race. No offense to Cloud Music Sniper, but that's a specific.
It is very specific.
You see, I'm fascinated, and we talk about this a lot, but I'm fascinated about the science of the arena. Because really, these apps are interesting, but they might be specific to a certain audience, and so they won't get the mass appeal. See?
Yep. Which doesn't make them not useful.
Right. No, not at all.
It's actually very interesting, the mentality of going into it, too, because I'm sure you guys experience this, too. Sometimes you do an app that you know is not going to be voted on a lot. We don't just pick apps that we think are going to win every week. Well, maybe some of us do, and sometimes we do. Maybe all of us do sometimes, but we don't do it all the time, because sometimes there's just an app that I use all the time, and it's like, you know what? I use it all the time. I'm going to talk about it. So there we go. Yes, Cannibalt is definitely in the lead with 48%. Bling Board, close second, 37%.
It's going to be a close one, I think. It's going to be a close one.
This is going to be close between you two, and I will apparently be going first next week. All right.
We don't know. These are early returns.
That's true. You were not in the lead earlier today when I checked the
I know, yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for this week. We should probably wrap it up, because I know that Trey's Variety Hour is up next, and they have to get started pretty quickly.
Yes, they do.
So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Ron, why don't you go ahead and plug? Do it.
Well, quick plugs. If you like me and what I do, go to about.me/RonXO. There you can find links to my Twitter, my Google+, Facebook, all the fun stuff I do. And if you're into comic books, check out ifanboy.com. And if you're into digital publishing, check out Graphly.com. My lovely day jobs that keep me able to pay my rent. I
like that.
Yeah, rent is good.
I mean, I don't like paying rent, but I like being able to pay rent.
That's true.
Go ahead, Eileen.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Eileen TV, or just find me on about.me/Eileen Rose.
Awesome. And I am at Jason Howell on Twitter, about.me/Jason Howell as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this episode of All About Android. You can leave us a voicemail if you want and have your voice be heard on the show, 347-SHOW-AAA. You can always send us an email. We read all the emails and try and get back to you if we can, though we don't always do a great job of it. AAA@twit.tv. You can find us on Twitter. We are at Android Show. Show notes can always be found at twit.tv/AAA. And finally, you can catch us live every Monday night at 5 p.m. Pacific. Almost said 4. 5 p.m. Pacific at live.twit.tv. That is it for this week. We will see you next week on another episode of All About Android. Bye.
Bye. It's on the phone. Everybody loves that. It's on the phone.